Welcome back to Super Mario 3D Land.
And today we are doing Special Worlds. And Special Worlds are basically another 8 set of worlds with levels that are, for the most part, kind of ROM hack versions of the original worlds. So they're supposedly harder and not all that different for the most part. And basically a cheap way to get some more game time.
I would have preferred if they just used these ones in place of the basic worlds.
Yeah, most of them are trickier, but I guess if they want to keep things accessible for newer players, then they gotta start easy. Now you'll notice that we're not starting with like a hacked version of 1-1. They do mix up the order of the worlds, sometimes a little more crazily than others. This is level 2-1 actually.
Got a bit of a sunset aesthetic going on here.
Right, they will change the aesthetics of a lot of the worlds to make them seem more different than they actually are. I'm gonna be very cynical for all these worlds, just FYI, so...
Makes a nice change of pace from just me being cynical, I guess. I never liked how the backflip worked in this game.
Yeah, is that the first time you've had to use it, or wanted to use it?
I think so, yeah.
So basically you just crouch down and you charge up a little power, and then you can jump up.
A bit like Super Mario Bros. 2.
Oh right, the US version, I guess. Did you get that version in Europe too? Is that what they did?
That was the version on Super Mario All-Stars, yeah.
Okay. So if you look carefully, you'll see some differences between this and the original level, but I honestly don't know what they are. And that's going to be a trend.
More enemies for the most part, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking about how 3D Land uses very few original enemies. I think this is one of them. If it turned up in Galaxy, I must have forgotten about it by now. It's not the most impressive of enemies.
Yeah, I mean, it makes use of the raccoon tail a lot, so I think that's the base. Oh, we didn't talk about the new style of raccoon tail, did we?
No, this is the proper Tanuki suit.
It can turn into a statue, and that's about it.
Yep, limited invincibility. Personally, I find it works the best when you're on a moving platform, and you got spikes coming towards you, fireballs and other enemies, and sometimes when you just need a breather, you can turn into a statue and boom, there you go.
Right, there are specific situations that specifically demand it to an extent, otherwise a regular Tanuki suit will do you fine.
Don't expect many cutscenes during this half of the game. They pretty much got it all out of the way in the basic worlds.
Alright, we're on a mission to save Luigi, right? And that's about it?
To begin with, yeah. I think there's something else that comes up, but not really all that important.
Anyway, this level is actually based on 1-2. I've kept track for the first couple worlds about what they're modeling after, not ripping off.
What would you call this guy? Cosmic Mario? Shadow Mario?
Yes. Cosmic Mario, I think, is the official name. It's a mechanic from Super Mario Galaxy 2, where essentially it follows behind you by about a second, and if you hit it, it damages you. In Galaxy 2, there would have 5 following you at once, but in this game it's limited to 1.
That's the 3DS for you versus a Wii.
It gets some creative uses later on, but here it's basically introducing you to the mechanic.
Yeah.
The thing about them is that since they are always about a second behind you, if you're staying in motion forward, no matter what your pace is, they can't catch you. It's when you try to double back and you accidentally hit it, is when it's dangerous.
Yeah, they try mixing it up with some difficult platforming to force you to go back, and that's usually where I would take a hit.
Oh, we're still visiting the Toad houses, I guess.
Well, you gotta go for that 100% completion.
Gotta get all those stars on your profile.
Toad, we've talked about this. Tanuki suit is just much better overall. I guess I'll keep it in reserve.
I mean, I can't really think of outside, maybe a torch situation when you would really want a fire flower, as opposed to something else.
I think even though I don't really like it per se, I think the boomerang suit works better for combat and whatnot.
Now this level, it is sort of based on 2-3, which was the retro 8-bit level, but the platforms are actually all different. They're all enemies now. So it's essentially a new level.
Interesting thing about this, if you just take the basic route, you won't get pretty much any of the star coins. So you just want to, when you're in the cannon, like look to your left, look to your right, just make sure there's no platforms that you're missing.
Right. Here, most of the time, you'll be navigating from platform to platform via the cannon, so that gives you a little more flexibility. My issue still stands with them being essentially uninteresting platforms with nothing on them. They're very flat. Maybe an enemy or two.
They could have done a lot more with the retro stick, I think. Just take a look at my life count. Do I really need 1-ups at this point?
So I suppose even then, the infinite life glitch, not even necessary. Now that can actually be a tricky shot on the cannon, it looks like, since you don't really have anything to aim for.
The music's nice, I guess, but I've heard this theme dozens of times before now.
It's very familiar.
And again, that's a weird criticism to make about Mario, isn't it? That the familiar has somehow become stale and whatnot.
I mean, I appreciate that they're keeping it essentially to these 1 or 2 levels, but I'm still sick of it.
I wouldn't even say sick, I'm just bored of it at this point.
I mean, why even go back and play Mario 1 when you can just do this?
Exactly.
Now, I take issue with these fireball platforms, because each and every one of them has been absolutely nothing but the star coin and a warpy block. Not even like a giant ball filling up space that you have to avoid.
Yeah, you think they'd actually put some fire on there?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. But it's all alright, because we get the fanfare.
Hooray!
Forgives everything. Now up here we have kind of a curveball. The first few levels that we got there were based on World 1 and 2 levels. This is based on level 6-1. And I have to say, there's something weird about the level design. If you can slip in a World 6 level as smoothly as this, with a bunch of World 1 and 2 levels.
That's a nice change of pace, I guess, and that's what the special worlds are for, basically. They're to test you. Basically, the normal worlds were like a practice run. This is what I would consider to be the real game.
Oh, you gonna make it? You gonna make it? Oh, you made it. Well done.
I had to redo a few takes of that because my OCD would not allow me to miss a red coin.
I've been there many times. Of course, my OCD wouldn't let me go on without just stomping all those Goombas at once.
Well, if you've got a Tanuki suit, you're gonna use the tail attack.
Now, I feel like they kind of reset the difficulty curve a bit after World 8, because this is definitely not, like, World 9 or whatever difficulty material.
I know, it's like post-game, and it feels like we've just reset the game in general.
I mean, like I was saying, this is a World 6 level, and it's easy enough to go along with the World 1 and 2 ones.
I'm fine with I guess I can come to terms with the fact that the basic game is somewhat easy. If the world's after, kick your ass. This one, not even breaking a sweat, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got my ass kicked maybe in Special World 8, but past that...
As you would expect to.
They could, like, get creative with these maybe for the Special World. I don't know.
Well, I think they kind of have to make these as basic as possible, because, you know, if you're sending them out via Street Pass, people of, like, all ages will be getting them, so you have to keep, like, a somewhat narrow or straightforward difficulty curve.
If they're skilled enough to beat Bowser World 8 before, then I feel like they can handle more than a single Goomba in a box.
What about a Goomba with a machine gun?
That would be hardcore, and I would love it.
Hooray! The best Mario character.
Now, here's a mechanic that they love to pull out for the Special Worlds, is rushing through a level with a severe time limit, and then collecting little stopwatches to get a little more time.
I quite enjoy these, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mechanic that they use over and over, but I don't get sick of it, because it is a challenge pretty much every time.
Because when you combine collecting with speedrunning, then it forces you to think on your feet, and I enjoy that in Mario games.
Right, how much is worth wasting time and, like, killing these things? How much is worth running around grabbing something you missed? And it should be noted that the timer moves faster than real time, so grabbing a stopwatch gives you less than 10 seconds, despite the numerical value. And you can see there's the giant green stopwatch at the very end there. That essentially nullifies the time limit.
Well, it doesn't stop it per se, but it gives you so much time that it may as well have been stopped.
Gives you about 100 when there are no obstacles left. Now, hello there, that's Dry Bowser.
A character that they love to keep bringing back, and I don't know why, because...
Because he looks frickin' badass is why.
I guess. Which game did he first appear in?
He first appeared in New Super Mario Bros. For the DS, and then he appears in, like, every spin-off and does the typical Mario thing.
Yeah, I specifically remember him from the Wii Mario Kart.
I mean, I'm okay with it, because look at him, he's frickin' cool as hell, but...
Design-wise, he's cool. He's actually a bit trickier than regular Bowser, because I believe his fireballs actually move faster overall.
Yeah, that would be a reasonable assumption. I think they are differently colored to indicate that.
One thing I've noticed about Dry Bowser, if all of his skin has burned off, why hasn't his hair followed suit?
Because his hair is made of fire.
Because he'd look weird as shit without hair. The character model would be really off.
That's true. It might be just, you know, a wig.
Possibly.
Bowser's very concerned with his image.
Even in death he has his dignity. And there you go. World S-1 done.
Luigi's back. Thanks, bro.
That's pretty fun for the most part. Hopefully S2 gives us a bit more of a challenge.
Yeah, we'll see.
See you all next time in the Super Mario 3D Land playthrough. See you then.
See ya.